Good morning. You're welcome to Newsroom on GHOne TV with me, Abena, Owusu, Nyamekye. We are live on GHOne TV, also on YouTube and on our website, ghonetv.com/livestream. Also on our Facebook page, GHOne TV. Here are the top stories. Speaker of Parliament expected to give landmark ruling on the bribery that rocked Parliament. Also, we'll bring you some sights and sounds of all the events that occurred in Parliament last night. It is a case of mistaken identity. Management of Okonfanoche Teaching Hospital clears the air on missing baby saga. Also in business, Singapore pledges support at government's one district, one factory policy. We'll bring you some sports with Dennis Mapuri, where Manchester United and Real Madrid have been named as the world's most valuable clubs. On the international front, South Africa President Jacob Zuma has sacked his finance minister. We've got details of these and many other stories coming up right here on Newsroom. Now, the five-member ad hoc committee that tasked to probe the bribery scandal that rocked the Appointments Committee of Parliament last night indicted the Member of Parliament for Boku Central, Mahama Yariga, for contempt. Mahama Yariga was thus asked to render an unqualified apology to the House and purge himself of the contempt for gravely injuring the reputation of the chairman of the committee, Owusu, and Parliament.
Knew how to attend the special committee if they so desired. Mr. Speaker, cannot therefore rely on the hearsay evidence mentioning two mystery members of the Appointments Committee. Mr. Speaker, in the circumstance, with regards to the first issue or term of reference, which is to establish whether the first Deputy Speaker, Mr. Joseph Owusu, took money from the Energy Minister, Mr. Bwacha, and gave it to the Minority Chief Whip, Honorable Alhaji Mohammed Mubarak Mutaka, to be distributed to the members of the Appointments Committee. The committee is unanimous that there is no evidence that Honorable Bwacha gave money to the Honorable Owusu to bribe members of the Appointments Committee. Furthermore, there is no evidence that this committee can rely on to lead it to the conclusion that Honorable Owusu gave money to Honorable Mohammed Mutaka for the purposes of bribing the members of the Appointments Committee or for any other purpose at all. Mr. Speaker, your committee is of the view that a multiplicity of rumors does not metamorphosize a rumor into a fact. The reputation of Parliament and the image of the institution has been greatly injured by the allegation. The reputation and dignity of the first Deputy Speaker, other members of the Appointments Committee, and that of the Minister for Energy has equally suffered considerable damage. As a result of these observations, your committee comes to the firm conclusion that Mr. Honorable Mahama Yariga is in contempt of Parliament on the strength of Article 112 of the 1992 Constitution, Section 32 of the Parliamentary Act 1965, Act 300, and Orders 28 and 32 of the Standing Orders of Parliament. The committee came to this conclusion because Honorable Mahama Yariga failed to prove that indeed Honorable Bwacha had given money to Honorable Owusu to be distributed to members of the committee with a view to bribe them, but all the same published this information. Mr. Speaker, having established the case of contempt against Honorable Mahama Yariga, as well as having examined the sanctions regime available, your committee recommends to the House as follows: that the Honorable Member for Boku Central, Mr. Mahama Yariga, be remanded by Right Honorable Speaker in accordance with Section 35 of the Parliament Act 1965, Act 300. That Mr. Mahama Yariga renders an unqualified apology to the House and thereby purging himself of the contempt.
Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Boku Central, Mahama Yariga, has issued a defiant apology to the Speaker of Parliament after he was cited for contempt by the ad hoc committee. His apology came after the committee's extensive probe into his allegations that Energy Minister GHOne had sought to bribe the members of the Appointments Committee to lure them into approving his nomination.
All done. Honorable Ayarida, I will respectfully advise you at this stage that in our typical court situation, those who wish to apologize, withdraw, and be shown mercy will show remorse to begin with. I will therefore advise you to advisedly pursue a more circumspect approach. You may continue.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether our primary concern is with the truth or giving closure to this case. I have every intention to show you utmost respect and act according to your directives. But I'll do myself grave injustice if in rendering the apology, I do not point out certain matters that I also feel are important for you to advert your mind to. Mr. Speaker, in the first place, you set up a committee pursuant to Order 191. First legal question is, does that committee have the power to come to conclusions relating to matters of contempt? Does it have the power? You set it up to find facts and report the facts to you. Does it have the power to come to conclusions on matters of contempt which are clearly spelled out in Order 30, 31, and 32? Facts, not to conclude on contempt, because the issues of contempt are clearly defined in the standing orders. And so that is the first thing that I just wanted to advert your mind to, whether the committee can make findings and come to a conclusion that the provisions of contempt have been violated. That's the first question. Mr. Speaker, the second question is, they use criminal standards determine the burden of proof. Mr. Speaker, if you conclude that you want to use the criminal standard, then you might as well have, during the proceedings, use the criminal process. What is the criminal process? If you call a witness in any criminal trial, he should also cross-examine the other side, so that you can come to the conclusion that will enable you to exact criminal sanctions. You didn't do that. Mr. Speaker, if you say I should apologize, I apologize.
Well, it was quite a heated atmosphere yesterday in Parliament, but as I mentioned earlier, the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Nyamekye, is expected to give a landmark ruling today into that bribery scandal. The 5-member ad hoc committee set up by the Speaker yesterday presented their report to the House, and the report indicted the Member of Parliament for Boku Central, Mahama Ayariga. We now take you live to Parliament. Our correspondent Ibrahim Al-Hassan is standing by to give us details of what is transpired in the House so far. Ibrahim, has the Speaker given his ruling yet?
Not yet. Abena, sitting just began about 30 minutes ago. And as we speak, what's happening on the floor is the consideration of the business statement for the day. Now, the business statement simply is the program of activity for the next week's session of Parliament. So in that business statement, Majority Leader, who is the leader of government business, indicated that if Parliament is to rise for the first sitting, it is likely to be on Friday. So there will be activities lined up from Monday through to Friday when Parliament is expected to rise. Just a particular revelation has not gone down well with the minority. Harun Idrisu got to his feet and then mentioned that they are not in support of that particular proposal given the fact that Parliament was supposed to have risen yesterday, but as a result of the backlog of activity that they need to undertake, they called for an extension, which has been accepted. But they can't travel for that long up to Friday. He is proposing Wednesday, that at most by Wednesday, Parliament is expected to adjourn indefinitely. And in his contribution, he says that if the president has not planned enough to present his deputy ministerial nominees on time for the appointment committee to consider them for approval, that is not enough basis to drag the sitting of Parliament beyond a reasonable period. So that is what is happening on the floor. There's that back and forth argument. Parliament is here to settle on the date that it will rise. However, as you asked earlier, nothing on the Ayariga issue yet. It's not on the other people, and that is because yesterday proceedings traveled very late, and that other program, order of activity, or what they call other papers, is pre-ordered, it's prepared before the next day. So that had been done before whatever transpired later this evening. But what I know for a fact is that the Speaker will make a ruling as to whether he's accepting Mahama Ayariga's apology or he's asking him to render a different one, which is likely to be unconditional, given the fact that the one he rendered yesterday has been described as a conditional apology. What the signal will take is that that apology that Mahama Ayariga rendered yesterday has been rejected by the Speaker, Abena.
Ibrahim, yesterday in the presentation of Honorable Mahama Ayariga, he made mention of the fact that that committee does not have the power to cite him for contempt. From where you sit, what exactly is the mandate of the committee? Do they have the power to do so?
Well, the committee was virtually tasked to undertake two things per their terms of reference. First of all, there was a mention of Joseph Owusu's name as being the recipient of the money, the bribe money that came from Energy Minister Boakye Jako. So the committee was to ascertain the veracity of that particular claim. And then also the claim that members of the appointment committee were given money for them to be induced in approving the nomination of Boakye Jako. So these were the two clear terms of reference for the committee. So they were to embark on a fact-finding mission, after which these facts, as ascertained by them, were supposed to have been presented to Parliament for consideration. As to their verdict or finding somebody guilty or otherwise, was not in the terms of reference for the GHOne committee. So that was the point Ayariga was raising, that first of all, they were supposed to have just presented their findings to the House for the House to debate, after which the Speaker will make a ruling as to the direction based on the facts presented by the committee. So the committee, in his opinion, and in the opinion of many members of Parliament, went outside its remit in pronouncing judgment, and a definite one for that matter, given the fact that they found Mahama Ayariga guilty of contempt of Parliament, and even suggested that he should be reprimanded by the Speaker and then be made to apologize. Abena.
All right, Ibrahim Al-Hassan is our correspondent in Parliament. Thank you very much, IB, for bringing us those details. And as and when that debate begins, we'll bring it to you right here on GHOne TV. And we can now bring you visuals from Parliament, that near scuffle that occurred last night.
At the commencement of public business, item 5. Honorable Majority Leader, if you can lead us on papers, reports that are really ready for us to make progress.
Speaker, the papers captured under item 5A, Roman numeral 1, 2, and 3. 5A. 5A, Roman numeral 1, 2, and 3. They are not ready. They are the issues that we have alluded to in the business statement. They'll be handled next week. Mr. Speaker, 5B
All right. As you see on your screens now, we're bringing you live pictures from Parliament. The majority leader is on the floor, Oseiche Mensah Bonsu.
It's rather inadvertent. It's inadvertent in the sense that, Mr. Speaker, the new Local Governance Act 936 provides that the expenses incurred by the Common Fund, and I'm talking about Section 132, the expenses incurred by the Common Fund, that is this Assembly's Common Fund, shall be a charge on the Common Fund as approved by Parliament. So we have migrated from the old position where we used to do that in Parliament. And now it's of the same order as is done for the administrators of the head.
All right, so let's now give you the visuals of that near scuffle that occurred in Parliament last night. Right, so as you see on your screens now, that was the aftermath of the presentation of the reports by the GHOne committee when the Speaker adjourned sitting. This is what happened on the floor. You can see some members of Parliament, Honourable Sam George and the Matthew Opoku Prempeh, Mahama Yariga, and quite a number of them. It was a heated atmosphere after that report was presented. Honourable Nilante Vanderpoy also in your shot there. So this is what happened in Parliament after the GHOne committee presented its report and then sitting was adjourned. Well, the head of the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, Dr. Bosman Asari, has described the near scuffle that occurred in Parliament as unacceptable and called on members of Parliament engaged in the act to apologize to Ghanaians.
All those who engage in that should be made to apologize orally or in writing to Parliament. Because I made an earlier point that Parliament is supposed to be made up of some selected Ghanaians, people in many instances of high esteem, people who understand lawmaking. But if at the end of the day some misunderstandings like that, and visibly on national TV you saw some people exchanging words, and it even got to a point, if not that some people were in the middle of certain individuals, some of them could have exchanged blows. And I think the TVs identified all these individuals. They should be made to apologize. These are the top people in this country. The taxpayers are spending huge amount of money on them. We know there are public school teachers who are even paid less than 1,000 Ghana cedis, and these people are given 12,000, 13,000, etc. to make laws for us. So we expect a certain standard of doing things from them.
Well, there are more reactions coming as a result of the incident in Parliament yesterday. Some members of Parliament and former Sharaj boss Emil Shott have been reacting to this.
When Ayariga apologized, after apologizing, some of our colleagues congratulated him. For that reason, the majority was saying that they shouldn't have congratulated him because they were thinking that he didn't apologize in the manner that they wanted. So definitely they took a cue out of what our colleagues were doing. But all the same, it's normal. You have to expect all these things, and that this particular instance where an allegation was made against somebody and the outcome came to be untrue, and the one who alleges is on his feet to apologize. He will have to punch some holes into the matter. It's just normal. I want to believe this. We just have to take it as one of those things.
We will not allow ourselves to be divided. You know, Parliament is an arm of government, and clearly it's a human institution. And as a human institution, such things are bound to happen. You understand? The greatest good for the greatest number of people. We stand for the generality of Ghanaians. We are not here for our own. We represent people. And don't forget, representation is one of our core mandates. We represent others. So we will not allow ourselves here to be. The Ghanaians are not divided. Therefore, how can we be divided?
Being a leader, trust in the leadership of this House, the Speaker, the Deputy Speakers, as well as the leadership, both minority and majority, and to look at, fairly looking at the content of the report and fairly implementing what is in there.
Yeah, sometimes we have to be careful in our utterances, and we have to be careful in the issues that we say to the public especially, but you also have to know that people have their reputations at stake. Parliament has its reputation and Ayariga has its reputation. According to the report, both of them, Muntaka and Ayariga, they all sworn by the Quran. So who is telling the truth now? We can't tell, but all the same, the report is saying Ayariga could not prove beyond reasonable doubt that there was an alleged bribery. So moving forward, we have to take a cue out of this particular instance that he who alleges must also prove.
I think Mr. Ayariga had an uphill task from the very beginning, because the person to whom the money was alleged to be given, Mr. Mubarak Muntaka, denied the allegation. So that made it extremely difficult for Mr. Ayariga to substantiate his allegation. So I'm not surprised with the finding of the committee. The fact that Parliament investigated itself is not by itself a ground for saying that the report is not acceptable. You have to look at the evidence that was before the committee and the reasons that were given by the committee for the conclusion that it drew.
The reality is that for the Speaker to give the Member of Parliament the chance to apologize, the manner in which it was done, I think that's not a good reflection of someone who is a leading member of the House.
Why should we be arguing as to whether the conduct of Honorable Ayariga was good or bad, whether he has used provocative words or somebody has used provocative words against you or otherwise? We think that those things are not necessary. What we need to do is, the committee has presented us with a report, they've made findings, they've made observations, they've made recommendations. How do we implement the recommendations? The honorable member has refused to submit himself to the requirement provided by the committee, which the House has adopted. So he's now running against the House, against Parliament.
Will he be expelled, do you think?
Expulsion is an alternative. There are so many sanctions that can be applied. Expulsion is one. But I don't know which of the alternative sanctions that Parliament will finally come to.
You're watching Newsroom on GHOne TV live from our studios here in Accra. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Speaker of Parliament expected to give landmark ruling on bribery probe that has rocked the Parliament. Well, we brought you some sights and sounds of all the events that occurred in Parliament last night. It's a case of mistaken identity. Management of Konfanochi Teaching Hospital clears the air on the alleged missing baby saga. In business, Singapore pledges support at government's one district, one factory policy. We'll bring you some sports later on, where Manchester United and Real Madrid has been named as the world's most valuable clubs. And in news elsewhere, South African President Jacob Zuma sacks his finance minister. We've got more for you right after this break. Do stay with us.
Surgery demystified.
Fibroids are usually non-cancerous growths.
Now my name is Samuel Fibro. So I was rather giving them pressure to take me.
Descended testes means that the testes never descended down into the scrotum.
The most educative health show.
I'm an orthodox practitioner, and as far as we know, supported by research, there is no drug now currently in existence that will melt fibroid.
Informative and awareness of your health.
We bring the theater virtually into your home.
The OR Show.
Hello people, my name is Kafui Danko, an actress and a producer. Mistakes and challenges are inevitable. There is no life without challenges or mistakes. Losing your life does not mean you lose your problems. You lose the opportunity to solve them. The imperfections are what makes us human. So, suicide is not the answer. Choose life.
Choose Life is a GHOne TV initiative promoting the value of life.
Two guests, one host, forming a panel of 3 lawyers. Each week, discussing relevant legal topics.
As soon as the court grants the adoption order, that child is no longer the child of the natural parent.
There isn't a single text in our law books which would come close to forcing a kid in his mature age to take care of his parents.
The gossips.
Yeah.
You've heard it's baseless. You move on from house to house discussing it. They can sue you for defamation.
If you go to office and you don't work, when is the end of the month? Feel shy. Don't go to the bank, please.
Some people actually sign prenups at the wedding ceremony. Actually, they sign it first and then they sign the certificate. What is this?
Law Express. Be empowered.
You're welcome back. Now, President Akufo-Addo is expected in Kumasi today. We understand it will be a 3-day working visit to the Ashanti region. The Ministry of Information has been briefing the media on the president's itinerary, and Wilberforce Asare, my colleague, joins us on the phone now with more. Wilberforce, what has the Information Minister been saying?
Well, so Abena Mustafa Hamid, the Minister for Information, has been outlining the president's itinerary on this visit to the Ashanti region. But first of all, he says that this is a plan by the presidency to institutionalize regional visits by the president to all 10 regions on monthly basis. And so the president will henceforth be spending a weekend each in all the 10 regions based on his availability in the country. Among the things that the president will be doing in the Ashanti region this weekend includes a courtesy call on the Asante Otumpo Osei, and then he would subsequently meet with leaders of transport unions in the Ashanti region and also visit the abandoned maternity ward at the Konkwa North Teaching Hospital. He also identified that the president will visit the central market in the Kumasi metropolis and also have a media encounter. On Sunday, the president is set to spend some time with some 2 churches, the Anglican Church and also the Bantama Methodist Church. the whole visit will be climaxed by a rally that will be hosted by the Ashanti Regional Caucus of the New Patriotic Party, and the president will bring the visit to an end subsequently, Abena.
Well, of course, a lot has happened in the Ashanti region in recent times. The attack on the security coordinator, the Regional Security Council, and also the MPP communicators threatening to boycott all media houses. Do we know whether the president will meet them?
Well, so Abena, this is a question that we put to the Minister for Information, and he told us that this visit of the president was planned long ago, before all these attacks happened in the Ashanti region. And so he says that officially they are not the reasons why the president is going to the Ashanti region, but it stands to reason that these are very pressing issues in the party, and the president should by all means spend some time with these aggrieved people to discuss some of these issues that are coming up from the Ashanti region. So even though it's not part of the official itinerary, it stands to reason that the president will spend some of his free time dealing with these issues that have plagued the New Patriotic Party, Abena.
Thank you very much. Wilberforce Asare is our presidential affairs correspondent, and we're still staying in with issues in the Ashanti region because the management of the Komfo Teaching Hospital has provided some explanations surrounding the controversy about the new missing baby in the hospital. On Wednesday, news went out that another baby was missing and subsequently found dead, and this situation deepened controversy at the hospital. But as it turned out, it was a case of mistaken identity, and hospital authorities have met with the aggrieved families to resolve the impasse.
You could best describe it as the tale of Abigail and Emilia. Both women in the ward lost their babies on the same day, but when Abigail's name was called, Emilia stepped up to thumbprint against Abigail's name and was discharged to go home. The family of Abigail went bananas when they received the shocking news that their newborn had died with no trace of the baby's body in the ward. The controversy grew murkier when the form suggested that a family member had thumbprinted documents authorizing the hospital to send the dead baby to the mortuary. Investigation by the hospital administration and the police, however, discovered the discrepancy and led the disgruntled family to the body of their dead baby. The acting head of the health directorate at the Komfo Teaching Hospital, Professor Samson Entry, in a media engagement, explained what led to the discrepancy.
A small mishap or mistake, and we are sorry for that, but have been rectified. So, indeed, no baby is missing from our hospital. Now, obviously, like I explained to you, we have called two people, come and thumbprint or sign against your name. The person who was witnessing that, the staff, should have checked that the thumbprint was done against the correct name. That was where the mistake came. Of course, it's both ways. The health staff should have checked. But if the other person who was thumbprinting was also well literate, you understand, he could also have seen that no, this is not my place, I have to thumbprint here. So it's both ways. So our staff should have checked that the thumbprinting was done against the correct name. On the other hand, if the person who was thumbprinting was also very literate, he would have seen that no, I have to make against that.
The father of the dead baby, Solomon Boachi Ansan, who spoke to the news team, expressed satisfaction with the explanations given so far. The baby's grandmother, Ekuya Ifriye, who identified the body at the mortuary, admits the medical officers were to blame for the mishap. She believes a better explanation could have prevented the controversy. You heard the grandmother of the baby, whose death has dug up so much controversy, Ekuya Ifriye.
A rather unfortunate incident there. Let's do some other stories. The Ghana Police Service has issued clearance to members of the Public Services Workers Union and the Trade Union Congress to picket in front of TV3, a local TV station. The picketing is in solidarity of some 32 staff who were sacked for allegedly demonstrating at work without authorization. General Secretary of the union, Richard Ampabing, told GHOne News that dismissal of the 32 staff is unlawful.
Speaking at a press briefing, the union indicated that management of TV3 erred in dismissing the 32 staff, hence the need for the picketing. The picketing is scheduled to take place on Tuesday, April 4 in the morning.
32 lives? No, we can't let it go. No proper investigation has gone on, and you use your power to say that go home because you control the purse. No, we are not allowing it.
Some of the dismissed staff spoke to GHOne News.
It's a very painful dismissal, but since that day, I've been coping with my family and everything is going well. But I want to assure or tell TV3 management that the CEO of TV3, that's the South African, can never threat anybody. That if you wear red, if you want your children to be orphans, you should wear red. I'm telling him, he's not God. They are wearing red. Even in South Africa, they are wearing red. What is showing that is when you wear red, what is crime about the red? What is so crime about red? People wear TV3 Lacoste. I'm telling you, I wear TV3 Lacoste. I don't think that even in modern Ghana, wearing red is a crime. This is somebody wear. He wear this one. They said it's red shirt. Is it a red shirt? Is it a TV3 Lacoste? My friend, we are serious here, and they shouldn't think that they will be free.
But management of TV3 Network Limited still insists the dismissal of the 32 staff was not in breach of the ethics and legal requirements regarding employer and employee relations.
Now, counsel for the accused in the Mawako incident, Augustine Asafoeje, today cross-examined two witnesses of the prosecutor in the ongoing court arbitration, Evelyn Boache, the victim in the Mawako incident, and a colleague worker, Susan Yara, where the two cross-examined by the defense lawyer, Augustine Asafoeje.
Evelyn Boache, the victim in the whole incident, was the first to mount the witness box in court today, and she admitted in evidence that the complaints made against the accused, Jihad Shaban, are not false machinations but the truth. She maintained her stance that Jihad Shaban dipped her face in the pepper and verbally assaulted her by calling her Sharamunta, meaning prostitute. Although defense lawyer for Jihad Shaban told the Abeka District Motor and Sanitation Court, presided over by Justice Victoria Ekwiagansa, that the word Sharamunta was cooked up by the witnesses against her clients because it does not exist in the Lebanese language, both witnesses maintained the word Sharamunta was used by the accused. Second witness Susan Yaira Dovelo also affirmed the first witness Evelyn Boache's position that her face was dipped in the pepper. She also told the court the content of the blender at the time of the incident was a mixture of blended pepper, onion, garlic and ginger. Even though defense lawyer told the court the prosecution witnesses have not been candid to the court, the prosecution witnesses stood their evidence by saying they have been truthful. The court has therefore adjourned to 3rd April 2017 at 9 a.m. for further cross-examination of the prosecution witnesses.
Now, government has increased the service allowance of all national service personnel across the country effective April 1st. The service personnel will now receive 559 Ghana cedis as their new national service allowance. The approval by government comes after several agitations by personnel over the delay in the increment, which was supposed to have taken effect in January.
The NSS allowance increment was part of a number of last-minute decisions made by the outgone Mahama-led administration in December last year. Initially, the Akufo-Addo government, on the assumption of office, froze the increment, arguing that it was not captured in the November 2016 supplementary budget presented to Parliament. This raised the ire of NSS personnel across the country who had long anticipated the upward adjustment. The situation culminated into a series of press conferences and a deluge of press statements, all in a bid to pile up pressure on government to effect the increment. It therefore came as a welcome respite when news broke today on the airwaves that government has approved a 60% increment.
We will also have the peace of mind to render our unflinching service to the country and to God for that matter. Because hitherto you realize that because of these challenges about increment, we were not focused on national service. We were all thinking about the increment, and you agree with me for that matter. And so for me, I think that productivity will go high.
And I can save a lot because first I was finding things difficult when it comes to me moving from my house to the office. It's not that easy. Sometimes I need to manage and all those kind of things. So I think I'll be okay by now. Things will go on well with me now.
The NSS personnel are, however, appealing to government to honor payments of their 2-month arrears.
We are still of the view that government should come clear on the matter as to whether or not we'll be paid, we'll be given a back pay. We'll be very happy to receive that news.
The Chief Executive Officer of Global Media Foundation, a human rights and anti-corruption media advocacy organization, Raphael Godlava-Henu, has called on government to establish adolescent-friendly services in all health facilities in the country. This is to help arrest the high rate of teenage pregnancies and unsafe abortion among adolescents.
A 2016 Ghana Health Service report in the Bono-Ahafo region indicates an estimated 12,112 adolescent pregnancies were recorded in the region. According to the report, the Bono-Ahafo region is the third highest in recorded teenage pregnancies across the country. This further suggested that there were high incidence of abortion cases in the area. Again, in 2016, a total of 1,224 abortion cases were also recorded in the Bono-Ahafo region. These statistics, according to the Chief Executive Officer for the Global Media Foundation, a human rights and anti-corruption media advocacy organization, is worrying and must be addressed immediately.
110,000 adolescents getting pregnant in 2016 alone. And in Bono-Ahafo, we are having 12,000 teenage pregnancy. So what it means that the fight against teenage pregnancy, we need to increase our effort in order getting more girls out of that situation.
Unsafe abortions, he indicated, also contributes for about 13% of maternal mortality cases in the country.
Now, 1,016 households, beneficiaries of the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty (LEAP), have received payments in the New Jabeng municipality of the Eastern region. The beneficiaries were also provided free health screening as a package to the exercise through the collaboration of Divine Mother and Child Foundation, a health-based NGO.
The disbursement was held at the New Jabeng Municipal Assembly Conference Hall through a Switch Biometric Smart Card platform. The highest beneficiary received 106 cedis, while the least took home 64 cedis. The Eastern Regional Officer at the Department of Gender and Social Protection, Christiana Ankama, hinted that the number of beneficiaries will be expanded in the region.
Industry has, or the Department of Social Development has partnered with the MAC, that is Divine Mother to Child Foundation, Ghana Health Service, to organize it. So as and when they come for their monies, they also take advantage of the health facilities that are provided.
Meanwhile, the Eastern Regional Social Welfare Department has presented a citation to honor DMAC Foundation for being the most outstanding health NGO in the region.
You're watching Newsroom on GHOne TV with me, Abena, Owusu, Nyamekye. Let's bring you some business stories now. Singapore has pledged its commitment at supporting government to achieve its one district, one factory policy. Singapore's trade minister gave the assurance when he paid a courtesy call on the Minister of Trade in Accra.
According to Dr. Koh Pong Kun, the creation of a factory in each district is one of the best steps every growing economy must take pride in.
The best years for Ghana are ahead of us. I think this vision does spell out the many things that would lift Ghana to a higher level and to create jobs for Ghanaians as well. On behalf of all Singaporeans, I want to wish Ghana every success. Certain areas that has been highlighted, obviously areas where Singapore companies have some expertise and some experience, and I think these are areas where Singapore companies will be happy to continue to work with Ghanaian partners to not just seek business opportunities but also create a platform for technology transfer, for capacity building as well.
Trade Minister Alan Chermatin spoke about government determination to create more factories in each district to ease off pressure on the few ones in the capital city.
It is good to have a vision of what you want to do to promote industrial development. But investors will only come when the environment is conducive. So this component of our transformation agenda is very important for us.
He also called on Ghanaians to have faith in the Nanado-led government to create more factories in all districts.
Now, the government of Germany and some major industry players in Germany will soon sign major business development and investment compacts with Ghana to help boost the Ghanaian economy and to deepen the existing business relations between the two countries.
The German ambassador to Ghana, Christopher Retzlaff, disclosed this at a lunch meeting with the vice president. The meeting is a prelude to another meeting scheduled to take place in Berlin, Germany, between some selected heads of states of Africa and the German chancellor in the first week of June this year. The German ambassador added that his country is excited to deepen its economic ties with Ghana through these investment compacts that will be signed in June of this year.
The German presidency of G20 has just launched a so-called G20 partnership with Africa. And this partnership, as the new government of Ghana does, is putting private business and private investment at the center of the activities. So what we want to achieve with our G20 initiative is we want to bring more private business and more investment to Ghana, to create jobs and to build infrastructure.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, told the delegation government was committed to creating an enabling environment for existing private businesses to grow and to invite new startups into the country.
Ghana, for the longest time, we've been focusing on taxation. We are saying that we need to move away from the focus on taxation to a focus on production. We believe that if the focus, and this is a fundamental shift by the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, a fundamental shift, that you move from a focus on taxation to a focus on production. If we focus on production, we believe that the taxes will come in as a result when businesses are producing and hiring people, paying income tax, corporation tax, and so on.
Dr. Bawumia reiterated all the policies such as the National Identification System, the establishment of a Fiscal Discipline Council, and the computerization of government's procurement as some measures government is taking to ensure that businesses have the appropriate climate to grow. He also hinted of a massive move by government beginning from May this year to transform port operations.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has appointed Dr. Ernest Addison, an economist, as the new governor of the Bank of Ghana. His appointment follows the resignation of Dr. Abdul Nashiri Sahaku on Wednesday on personal grounds. A letter has since been dispatched to the Council of State for consultation. Meanwhile, investment banker Dr. GHOne Ofori Tinkran will head for the Social Security and National Insurance Trust as the new Director General.
Dr. Addison, an economics graduate from the University of Ghana, holds an MPhil in economics and politics from the University of Cambridge, England, and a PhD in economics. Dr. Addison joined the African Development Bank in May 2011 and has worked as a lead economist. Before joining the AFDB, Dr. Addison was the Director of Research at the Bank of Ghana from 2003 to 2011. He was also the Chief Economist at the West African Monetary Institute from 2000 to 2003. His experience will come in handy at a time the country is grappling with a continually plummeting cedi. Dr. Addison will also have the arduous task of ensuring sanity in the banking and finance industry. In a similar fashion, investment banker Dr. John Ofuri-Tinkran will take over from Ernest Thompson as the Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust. Dr. Ofuri-Tinkran was, until his appointment, working in the office of the Vice President, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, as technical advisor.
Away from business, let's now bring you some sports news, and Dennis Mepuri has joined me in the studio. Good afternoon, Dennis.
Good afternoon, Abena, and it's a very, very tough day for Ashanti Gold fans. We'll get to that story, but this morning, well, Real Madrid and Manchester United have a lot to glory about because they've been rated as the most valuable clubs in the world in an annual study by auditing giants KPMG.
Netherlands-based auditing firm KPMG estimated the value of Real Madrid and Manchester United at 2.9 billion euros at the end of the 2015-2016 season. Barcelona occupy the third spot with their value estimated at 2.8 billion euros, ahead of fourth place Bayern Munich rated at 2.2 billion euros. Arsenal completes the top five with the next three places occupied by Manchester City at 1.6 billion euros, Chelsea 1.5 billion euros, and Liverpool at 1.3 billion euros. KPMG head of sports network Jean-Luc Leroux said it's a study that associates several criteria, including the popularity of clubs with their number of followers on social media, their sporting potential given the value of their players, TV rights, and their ownership situation, notably of the stadium.
So good times for United and Real Madrid as their hard work and effort, investments by the management and board has paid off indeed. Now let's talk about Ghanaian football because it's a difficult time for Ashanti Gold SC as news coming in from Obuasi indicates that Bashir Hayford, the coach of Ashanti Gold SC, has resigned from his position as trainer of the team, and he has sent his letter already to the club, as you can see rolling on your screen at the moment. And so that's Bashir Hayford resigning as Ash Gold coach. He had a game to oversee this weekend against Bolga All-Stars, and he has left the team of 19 players that he put together 2 weeks before the start of the Ghana Premier League season. Well, Bashir Hayford resigned after he was given an ultimatum, a 3-match ultimatum to lift Ash Gold from the 15th position where they currently find themselves on the Ghana Premier League standings. Very, very difficult times for Ash Gold as they won the Ghana Premier League in 2015 but could not maintain consistency going forward into the 2 seasons that came up afterwards, and that's the resignation letter on your screen once again. So they have 2 wins from 8 matches and lying 15th in the Ghana Premier League. Their coach says he's gone but not missing, according to that letter he sent to the Obuasi-based club. And so now we move on to other stories because General Manager of Great Olympics, Oluboy Commodore, has told GHOne Sports that the next Black Stars trainer must hand automatic call-ups to Ghana Premier League best players in the squad for international assignments. It will be recalled that the GPL's best player, Latif Blessing, who was then with Liberty Professionals, was dropped from Avram Grant's 2017 AFCON squad, and Oluboy Commodore insists GPL best players deserve to be in the Black Stars.
We should promote Ghana football in our national teams. Because I do not agree that our best player in Ghana was not in the national team that played in the AFCON. Our best player. It is not a matter of quota. See, when you are looking at merit, you cannot say that the best player in Ghana is not suitable for our national team. If it is by merit, Ghana's best player cannot be put somewhere for other players who are sitting on benches in Europe to fill in the gap. At least, if there's nothing at all he can do, or if he cannot play, he should sit and watch others play to get some kind of experience. Then to encourage other players in Ghana.
Oluboy Commodore is the great Olympics general manager, making a case for locally based players in his domain. He plays in the Ghana Premier League, so he speaks highly of locally based players and believes that they merit a place in the Black Stars team. Who becomes the next Black Stars coach? We don't know. Kwesi appears in the shortlist. We also know about people like Willie Sagnol and also Hugo Bros. But the next person must consider locally based players and must live in Ghana because you'll be in charge of the local Black Stars team. So we're working with locally based players. But Sports Ministry is calling for an improved working relations or collaboration with the Ghana Football Association over payments for national team backroom staff members. This follows the miscommunication in the budget for the AFCON 2017 regarding the amount owed to former Black Stars video analyst Gerard News, and according to that budget, well, Gerard News was owed $10,000, which was initially paid by the ministry, but the Spaniard later turned up on Cheers and a number of other interviews here on GHOne TV, revealing that he agreed with the FA to be paid progressive bonuses, which is to say that he was to be paid bonuses based on the national team's advancement in the AFCON event. Well, Elvis Baeje is the public relations officer for the Sports Ministry.
We can do better than that. Maybe going into the future, we'll see how best we can be. The synergies can be very, very much improved upon. Because trust me, if you submit or the ministry knows that it's paying, it's supposed to. I mean, government knows that it's supposed to pay this amount to this man, and then it turns out that it's quite different, or even it's up. It doesn't really show that kind of collaboration between the ministry and the GFA. So I believe that we can do better than that, and I'm sure that going forward such occurrences will not happen.
Elvis Baeje is the spokesperson of the public relations officer for the Sports Ministry. So a word to the wise, they say, is in the north. Well, that's it for the sports brief here on Newsroom.
Well, we can now bring you some international news.
South Africa's President Jacob Zuma has sacked Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan from his cabinet. The decision was reached after top ANC leaders met with Zuma at his Pretoria residence. At his request, Gordhan's sacking comes after days of speculation that has rocked the country's markets and currency. Gordhan was appointed finance minister in 2009 before he was appointed cooperative minister in 2014. He was then reappointed finance minister in December 2015. Rumors of his removal began on the eve of the country's 2016 budget reading. Gordhan has been replaced by Malusi Gigaba, who previously held the post of Minister of Home Affairs. In South Sudan, 3 foreign oil workers seized by rebels earlier this month have arrived in the Sudanese capital Khartoum following their release from captivity. The men, 2 Pakistani nationals and 1 Indian, were released on the orders of the rebel leader and former Vice President Riek Machar. One of the released men said his rebel captors had told him to pass a message to foreign oil companies to stop operating in South Sudan because oil revenues were being used to fund war. Oil is the main driver of the country's economy. South Sudan has been devastated by more than 3 years of civil war, and a famine was declared in parts of the country last month. In Asia, ousted South Korean president has been arrested and taken into custody over a corruption scandal that led to her dismissal. She was taken to a detention center south of Seoul after a court approved her arrest. She is accused of allowing her close friend Choi Sun-sil to extort money from companies including Samsung in return for political favors. Ms. Park, who was removed from office earlier this month, denies the claims. She is the 3rd former president of South Korea to be arrested over criminal allegations. The Seoul Central District Court earlier issued a warrant to detain Ms. Park while she is investigated on charges of bribery, abuse of authority, coercion, and leaking government secrets. Ms. Park can be held for up to 20 days before being formally charged. If convicted, she could face more than 10 years in prison.
And that's all we have for you on Newsroom today. My name is Abena, Owusu, Nyamekye. The news team will return at 7 p.m. with News Tonight. Thank you for watching.